President Uhuru Kenyatta on Tuesday reshuffled his cabinet to actualize what he called focus on 2020 to improve the lives of Kenyans. But what became of the president's famous Big Four agenda, and what likely challenges stand in the way as Kenyatta focuses on 2020? KTN political reporter Muremi Mwangi revisits the cabinet reshuffle and explains why a big task awaits Kenyatta's ministers in their new portfolios.
Armed with the promise to initiate universal health coverage, jumpstart the manufacturing sector, safeguard food security, and roof these gains with 500,000 affordable housing units, President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term was up to an optimistic start when he took his final oath of office on the 27th of November 2017. Slightly over 2 years later, with his succession politics at a fever pitch, President Kenyatta on Tuesday reshuffled his cabinet with changes in 3 of the 4 ministries, where the Big Four agenda items are domiciled, before he unveiled what he calls Focus 2020, a strategy he says is to improve the lives of Kenyans. But what became of the president's Big Four, and could reshuffled CSS Peter Munya, Cicely Kariuki, and fired Minister Mwangi Kionjuri have proved ineffective to Kenyatta in the industrialization, health, and agriculture dockets respectively? In his statement, Kenyatta relocated critical cooperatives department from the industrialization to the agriculture ministry, pointing to the president's presumed new resolve to revamp key cash crops such as coffee and tea, and possibly silence the murmurs of disquiet in his largely agricultural Mount Kenya backyard, while giving some fresh attention to such locally produced staple foods as maize and rice, most of whose farmers have largely been at the mercy of trade cartels, flooding the local market with imports. Yet there already are mumblings from Nyanza and western bastions of Kenyatta's newfound ally, ODM leader Raila Odinga, over the president's failure to address the plight of sugarcane farmers with as much zeal as the other cash crops in his Tuesday address.
He promised that he's waiting to receive the task force report. Then after the task force report, he will do. But I want to tell the president that you might not even wait for the task force report. The same prescription you gave to tea and coffee is more or less what we want in sugar. Pay off the old debts, restructure the management, inject capital, and sort out the corporate governance by giving us boards that are responsive.
And what about loading more departments and money to the agriculture ministry?
It's just a statement that ministries need to straighten up. You notice that even other ministries were reshuffled, although not fired, but ministers were moved around, which in itself is a statement that so-and-so looks better here.
What he is doing is just interventions, not to kill devolution. But what should be done, every county should come up with its own strategy on how to deal with the products that are in their jurisdiction. If it is coffee, the county government should come up with the policies on how the farmers can benefit from that coffee, from that tea, from potatoes, from milk.
Remember the olden days when we used to have the AI who would come with special breed of cows, you know, the Fresians and all that. The ones that are resistant also to the diseases and the climatic conditions of our areas. We need to go back to those roots and make sure that we are able to have better cows, with better grade, and of course producing more milk.
But arguably the weightiest of the president's Big Four tasks now falls on former Nyeri Senator Mutahi Kagwe. Should he get Parliament's nod to serve as the health CS, where he will be expected to deliver on the universal health coverage promise, recently dogged by financial, logistical, and police hiccups in the CS James Macharia Transport and Infrastructure Ministry that was never affected by the reshuffle. The Housing Department has been rushing against time to deliver the 500,000 housing units promised by the president. Nevertheless, the ministry's mega infrastructure projects recently coming under criticism as Treasury struggles to finance other ministries critical to the Big Four.
We are not comparing Big Four from roads and so on, but it is the roads that make people reach the hospitals. So if you say you are doing universal health care, You know, you are not going to offer this universal health care at home. It must be in a health facility. So in that health facility, you require a road to reach there. So primarily then you must invest in a road.
With the 2022 Kenyatta succession politics at a fever pitch, however, and with the Odinga-led opposition camp demanding for referendum to amend the country's executive structure prior to the polls, Kenyatta no doubt faces a tough task, delivering on his Focus 2020 project